You're watching Fox 40 News at 9.
A healthy lifestyle for a family is a challenge, and getting kids involved is a must. We'll get some advice from a mom and a doctor next in your Family Focus.
A lot of kids are coming back home from school today, going to spend more family time because of this weather. And of course, we've been spending a lot of time because of the pandemic. And that leads us to today's Family Focus. In today's Family Focus, taking advantage of families having to be home more during the pandemic, we're seeing rising rates of obesity and addiction in our youth still. Study after study shows children who eat dinner with their parents, though, are less likely to be obese and have drug and alcohol addiction problems. So let's all get to the table, shall we? Joining us this morning with tips on making healthy living a family affair is Dr. Sheetal DeCaria, physician and mother of two from Chicago. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Thanks for
We're
having
getting
me.
some Chicago weather here in California.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with these tips to make healthy living a family affair. I like this because sometimes a lot of us as parents, and we try to do this on our own and just try to tell our kids what to do, but it's so much easier when everyone is involved and working together. So let's start with some of the startling statistics that we're still seeing so we can really drive home the picture of why we need to do making healthy living a family affair.
Sure. So what we're seeing now in our kids are things we didn't see years before. So rising rates of obesity, like you said, but also increasing rates of chronic disease like type 2 diabetes. We used to call that adult onset diabetes because we never saw it in children. But now we are seeing it so much in children that it's really becoming startling. And it's really bringing to light how much we need to focus on lifestyle and diet and healthy nutrition in children to set them up for a lifetime of less chronic disease.
Okay, let's take advantage of the fact that we're all home more together, right? I see your book behind you, Break the Chronic Pain Cycle, and you go over things that we could do together at home. Let's start with cooking with our kids, which also leads to eating with our kids, right?
Yes, exactly. So especially with young kids, maybe they don't like to eat a lot of vegetables, but if you involve them with the cooking process, they not only learn from cooking in terms of measurements and things like that, but they also get super excited about cooking with you. You're spending time with them, and they're more likely to really enjoy and savor that meal and appreciate it.
I like that. Somebody else is doing some of the cooking. I'll take any little hand that I can get. You also mentioned throwing in some math skills in there. One of the things that my youngest likes to do is at school, when he was at school, they grew a garden, and he keeps asking me if we can grow a garden, and we can do that indoors, even if you don't have much space outdoors.
Yes, exactly. And actually, I just did this last week with my kids. So these grocery store punnets, they have our fruit in them. We throw them out. Actually, hold on to them. You can use these to grow microgreens indoors. You don't need space. You just need a windowsill that has some light. You can get soil, some non-GMO microgreen seeds for very inexpensive, and actually start your own garden at home. And it grows in about 7 to 14 days. So the kids aren't waiting terribly long to be able to harvest that and eat a little bit more greens because they're super excited they grew it themselves.
And along with eating together, exercising, working out together is also really good. But one of your tips that you mentioned, which we don't often think of as a family, is being more mindful together, right? And practicing meditation and de-stressing techniques. What are your suggestions?
Sure. So, all of us are stressed out as adults, but what we need to make sure we remember is that our kids are feeling a lot of stress right now, too. They are experiencing this pandemic with us. They're having social isolation. They're kind of just, their schedules are thrown off. And it's important that they learn early on the skills to actually reduce their stress levels on their own. What we do in our household is really easy. You can do 5-minute meditations on an app. Headspace is a great one that actually splits them up into age. So you can have, the really young ones, age 5 to 10, and they kind of split it up for age appropriate meditations. And if the kids learn these skills early on, it's going to really help them as they face adversity and more stressful situations as they get older, because they've now learned these skills as a child.
Well said and great advice. I'm going to go get your book right now. We're going to eat more healthy together, work out together, and take more deep breaths together as a family. Dr. Sheetal DeCaria, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you. Take care.